More ancient history jewelry stories. We are continuing our deep dive into the early history of Tiffany and Company. And since the last two deep dive videos were on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday, I thought I would just continue the trend. Last week in the podcast episode, I talked a little bit about Louis Comfort Tiffany's propensity for hiring women, specifically Clara Driscoll and the Tiffany girls, who were responsible for bringing so much of his glasswork to life. It seems that he had a deep respect for women as artisans, and it seems that he also noted something that neuroscientists have only recently confirmed, that women are better at noting the differences in colors. As someone who was deeply obsessed with color, it makes sense that he would have gravitated towards women in order to bring his ideas to life. Two of the women who helped Tiffany make his jewelry a reality were Munson and Meta Overbeck. Julia Munson was initially hired by Tiffany in 1898 to help him with enamels. It seems that Louis Comfort Tiffany was experimenting with jewelry in secrecy because he was intimidated by the beautiful jewels created by his father and Paulding Farnham, one of the top artisans working at Tiffany and Company. When he took over the company after his father's death, Julia Munson became the head of his jewelry department. Their initial collection was shown at the St. Louis Exposition in 1904, although it seems only one piece has survived. The pieces made while Julia Munson was the head of the jewelry department, up until 1914, are the ones that are deeply organic, inspired by nature, such as the dragonflies, grape bunches, and flowers. All of the pieces made in this period have one thing in common. They are perfectly imperfect, and they are based almost entirely on nature themes. In 1914, Julia Munson got married at the age of 39, which meant, of course, that she could no longer continue working at Tiffany and Company. While Tiffany respected women, it was not proper for married women to continue working in these sorts of jobs during this time. After Julia Munson got married, Meta Overbeck took over as head of the jewelry department. And while there are some similarities in their designs, they are also distinctly different. Meta Overbeck's designs tend to be more symmetrical with a geometric focus. She was also the one responsible for a lot of the archaeological revival pieces, many of these made after the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb. She managed the jewelry department from 1914 till 1933 and is equally as responsible for sensational works as Julia Munson. In fact, the necklace worn very recently to the Grammys by Lady Gaga was designed by Meta Overbeck, and this is the first time it's been seen in public. Lady Gaga was also one of only 4 people who has worn the Tiffany Yellow Diamond. I will be discussing these two and their achievements and efforts a little further in next week's podcast episode.